Hey everybody, Steve Prasbrowski here. Welcome to episode 20, which is actually tip number 20 in the series for 101 tips to ace your promotional examination. So let's get started here. As a reminder, my website, code3firetraining.com, has lots of great free information on there for all ranks, whether you want to be a firefighter, company officer, chief officer, or you just want to be the best that you can be in any of those ranks, regardless of the type of department, regardless of where you're from. Great information that can hopefully help you be the best that you can be. Holy moly, need some caffeine here. Now, as a reminder, my 101 Tips to Ace Your Promotional Exam book is out now, published by Fire Engineering Books and Videos, available on their website, fireengineeringbooks.com, as well as my website below. And then obviously down below in the green box, you've got a 25% off code if you want to use that for this book. But lots of great books as well on their website that they published, not just this one, many others that you can learn from. So let's get into tip number 20. This one is something that it took me a while to realize. I remember as a new firefighter, I was talking to one of our battalion chiefs, and he was just giving me some career advice. And I remember he was talking about mentorship and building relationship and reaching out to others and, building my network. And I remember he suggested someone that I reach out to, and I sort of, I guess, naively said, "Hey, chief," I go, "but that guy necessarily isn't maybe the best of role models out there that I should be maybe having help me prepare for, future promotions," which at that time was going from firefighter to captain. And he looked at me, he's like, "Steve, everyone can be a role model, even the good role models and the not so good role models. He may be a not so good role model, but you know what? There are some things you can pick up from him, good and not so good." And I'm like, "Well, you got a good point there, chief." But the point is, never discount anybody, because you never know where you can get some good information. And if nothing else, maybe gain a friend. And if nothing else, some good solid tips for success, both in your current position as well as those future positions you aspire to. So for those that have been following along, you notice that in many of these chapters, I've got 37 different other friends, mentors, brothers, sisters of mine in the fire service that have offered up words of wisdom and what we call voices of experience. So the voice of experience for this tip is from a good buddy of mine, Assistant Chief Dave McGlynn out of from Pennsylvania. He also hosts the Fire Engineering Podcast, Networking for Success. Dave's a great guy, great resource. And again, check out his podcast. I think he's got a lot of good information that you'll benefit from as well. But he offered some words of wisdom as well related to this topic, because if you really think about it, you can learn something from everybody. I mean, I'm obviously a fan of learn from the positives of others that we'll talk more about in future episodes, but also learn from the mistakes of others. Think about it. That's learning from history. We suck, I think, as a nation learning from history, and I'm guilty of that too. I mean, take a look at firefighter fatalities, firefighter significant injuries or accidents. Oh, just take a look at things outside of the fire service, nationwide things that affect us. So much of it you look at is like, wow, that same thing happened back, whatever, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 100 years ago. I mean, right now, as I'm filming this, we're in the tail end, I'm hoping, of the pandemic related to COVID-19 and the coronavirus. I'm hoping we're on the home stretch. Vaccinations are rolling out, all those other things. Well, there's a lot of similarities to the Spanish flu, which I think was like 1918, 1919, basically about 100 years ago. When you look at back and do your homework and research on the Spanish flu, there's a lot of similarities, even though the times are different and a lot more technology is out there and available to us today. There's a lot of similarities. That's just one example. But back to like firefighters, even with firefighters losing their life in the course of duty, line of duty deaths, or significant injuries, accidents, when you look at the executive summaries on a lot of these after action reports, you see a lot of the same similarities, meaning we're not finding new ways to kill or injure firefighters. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm saying that we got to learn from this stuff. So don't just learn from the positives, but learn from the mistakes and the negatives of others. Because if we truly care about our brothers and sisters that have been, that have died in the line of duty or been involved in accidents or injuries, or let's take it a different step further, maybe done stupid things that have, unethical, inappropriate, illegal stuff that got them arrested, suspended, demoted, fired, and so forth, or maybe that have gotten cancer, Um, you know what? Well, mistake. Well, sometimes I hate to say it, the mistake might have been not wearing your full PPE for whatever reason. Then you maybe get a, long-term exposure to cancer. I don't know what it is, but learn from the mistakes of others so you don't hopefully make the same mistakes twice. But more importantly, that you can share and pay it forward those mistakes. Again, not in a punitive way, not in a Monday morning quarterbacking way, not in a derogatory way, not in a holier than thou way or condescending way. But again, if we truly want to honor those that have walked before us in every capacity, learn from the mistakes so we can hopefully not make the same mistake twice. That's the point I'm making. So here's a little funny meme. Let the chief run the pumps. They said it'll be fun. They said, it's, hey, I can laugh at myself. I'm a chief. And we've all seen things like that. And you know what? If you're a chief officer, if you're a gold badge and you actually do something like that, heck, if you're any rank and you do something like that, I mean, obviously you didn't do that on purpose. It was an accident. You got to laugh at yourself. You got to have a sense of humor. When you go up the ranks, you have to have thick skin and you have to have a sense of humor. And when people make jokes, roll with the punches. Hey, at least they're still talking to you. Remember what the old saying is: if they don't like you, they won't talk to you or about you. Yeah, that's how it goes in the fire service. But obviously there was a mistake made at some point here. Learn from the mistakes so you don't make the same mistake, because you don't want to be that guy or that gal or that person that's known for that. Now, if you're known for this, hey, you know what? If that's the worst thing you're known for is charging the 5-inch hose in the bed, that's actually not bad. But if you're known as that person that maybe did something stupid, illegal, unethical, inappropriate, or just plain wrong and bad things happened, like maybe you got fired or somebody else got injured or killed or in trouble, you know what? We gotta knock that shit off. So let's learn from the mistakes if nothing else, but gotta have fun too while you're at it. Now, if you think about it, as I touched on earlier, everyone can be an example, not just from the good things they do. Thankfully though, the internet is the gift that keeps on giving for you, not them. And I say thankfully for two reasons. When I say the internet's the gift that keeps on giving, meaning nothing ever gets erased from the internet. We know it's there forever in perpetuity. And that's the crappy part. If you do something wrong or make a mistake, it's out there. The only good news is that when you make a mistake, because it's the internet and because it's worldwide, you're old news pretty quick, because there's always somebody else doing something stupid out there to take the forefront. But again, try not to be in that position. But the internet can be a valuable tool to learn, obviously, from a lot of good things. And thankfully, most of the things that go on are good things. Unfortunately, they're boring news stories. They usually don't make the news. It's usually just what the 5% of people do, the stupid stuff. Hey, 95% of the people come to work every day doing the right thing, not doing stupid things, thinking correctly. It's just those few percent that make the news. But again, they're good examples to learn from, and also not just to learn from. Let me just, before I end on, let me share this in there. If you're going for a company officer position, let's say your department just had something bad happen, negative public relations. Let's say there was a sex in the firehouse scandal. It's happened. Sex in the firehouse happened at your department. Somebody maybe got fired, someone got demoted or whatever, disciplined because of sex in the firehouse on duty. And I know there's somebody out there going, what's the problem with that, Steve? It's okay, right? We're volunteers, or we're not full pay. Just probably not the best, yeah, it's your second home, but yeah, let's just, what I'm talking about. But anyway, your department has a sex in the firehouse scandal. It's a black eye for your fire department. It goes negatively. Granted, some other department out there is going to do something stupid at some point to overshadow what you've done. But think about it. If your department's had a scandal or maybe an ongoing problem, let's say a lot of people getting cancer, a lot of accidents occurring, a lot of people getting arrested off duty, on duty, whatever, I bet you part of their promotional process is going to be asking you about your leadership, your values, your character traits, because they don't want to promote someone else that's going to let the same things happen again. So if there's an oral interview, you can be darn straight. There's probably oral interview questions such as, so you probably heard about the sex in the firehouse scandal that our department is going through right now. Let's imagine you're a captain on Station 3 on the B shift, and this happens to you. How are you going to handle it? And the reason they're asking you number one is it happened. Number two, someone probably screwed up at the company or whoever the leader was screwed up. Obviously, the individuals that got themselves in a position screwed up, could have handled it better. And they want to test your values, your ethics, your morals, your ability to follow instructions and be the designated adult. So there's probably going to be an oral interview component, and there may be something else within the process that tests your ability to not let the same thing happen again. It is what it is. So ultimately learn from the history of others so you don't doom yourself to repeat the same mistakes. That's the point of this whole tip here. So as always, thank you very much for the gift of your time. My contact information, my cell and email are on the website, social media footprint. Until the next time, don't do anything stupid that'll get yourself in trouble, get someone hurt, or find yourself being an example made by somebody else around the country. So until the next time, y'all be safe, y'all take care, and we'll see you soon.